Kentucky was the happening place to go scuba diving or snorkeling.
Kentucky is a place full of surprises, from its rolling hills and famous horse races to its hidden underground wonders. Beyond the pretty landscapes, the state holds some incredible secrets, like the world's longest cave system and fossils from ancient sharks. Whether you're into nature, history, or just curious about what's hiding under the surface, Kentucky's got something cool waiting to be discovered. Kentucky's wonders. Kentucky sits right in the heart of the southeastern United States, blending rolling hills, lush green pastures, and a mix of culture that makes it unforgettable. Known as the Bluegrass State, it covers more than 104,000 square kilometers and has something for everyone. Whether you're into bourbon, horse racing, or just soaking in the stunning views, Kentucky's got you covered. From the rugged Appalachian Mountains in the east to the wide, powerful Mississippi River in the west, it's a place packed with contrasts, stories, and natural beauty. But there's more to Kentucky than what you see on the surface. Beneath those beautiful hills and open fields, there's a whole other world to explore. Kentucky's land is full of hidden wonders, massive caves, ancient fossils stuck in limestone, and rivers carving through dramatic gorges. This state has seen it all. Native American tribes living off the land, pioneers blazing trails, and the rise of industries that shaped American culture. Speaking of caves, did you know Kentucky is home to Mammoth Cave National Park? It's not just any cave system. It's the longest one in the entire world, with over 420 miles of explored passages. It's so special that it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Walking through it feels like stepping into another world. The cave system is a massive underground maze filled with chambers, tunnels, and formations that have been forming for millions of years. It's hard to wrap your head around just how big and old it is. Above ground, Kentucky keeps delivering. Its rivers, like the Kentucky River, wind their way through scenic gorges, while the state's limestone-rich soil has made it famous for something else: bourbon. The distilleries scattered across the region tell the story of a craft perfected over generations. And let's not forget horse racing. The state's rolling pastures and racetracks are legendary, and just when you think you've seen it all, there's even more waiting to be uncovered beneath the surface. Uncovering Mammoth Cave's secrets. Recently, explorers added another 8 miles to the map of Mammoth Cave, uncovering even more secrets in this underground labyrinth. With every new find, it's clear there's so much we still don't know about this incredible place. In one of these newly discovered areas, researchers came across chambers packed with rare gypsum formations. These sparkling, delicate mineral structures are unlike anything you'd expect to find underground. Even cooler, they found a unique ecosystem thriving in total darkness. This hidden world is home to creatures that have adapted to life without light, like blind fish and crustaceans. These species don't just survive, they've evolved in ways that blow scientists' minds. Discoveries like this suggest the cave system is part of a massive, interconnected underground world that humans have barely touched. One of the most fascinating parts of Mammoth Cave is its underground rivers. These waterways twist and turn through the cave system, connecting to aquifers that provide drinking water for the areas above. Scientists are trying to figure out how these hidden rivers filter out pollutants and sustain rare aquatic life. It's not just about understanding the cave, it's about protecting the environment and the people who rely on this water. The deeper they go, the more questions pop up. Are there more tunnels and chambers we haven't found yet? What else might be hiding in the shadows? With new technology like LiDAR and 3D mapping, researchers are pushing the boundaries of what we know. These tools are helping them see beyond the walls and uncover new passages that were impossible to detect before. In early 2024, paleontologists made an incredible discovery in Mammoth Cave National Park: fossils of 2 ancient shark species. These sharks, named Troglocladodus tremblay and Glycmanius careforum, swam the seas over 325 million years ago. Back then, Kentucky was covered by vast oceans, and these sharks were likely top predators. Their fossils, found embedded in the cave walls, shed light on the ancient marine ecosystems that helped create the limestone formations Mammoth Cave is famous for today. What makes this discovery even cooler is the advanced imaging tech scientists used to study the fossils. They were able to piece together the skeletal structures of these prehistoric creatures, revealing some wild features like unique jaw shapes and tooth patterns. These sharks weren't just any old fish. They were rulers of their world, perfectly adapted to their environment. Finding these fossils isn't just about learning what lived here. It's about understanding how ancient species adapted to changing environments. And it makes you wonder, how many more fossils are hidden in the depths of Mammoth Cave, waiting to tell us more about Kentucky's distant past? Above ground, Kentucky continues to make its mark, especially when it comes to bourbon. Did you know 95% of the world's bourbon comes from this state? It's not just a drink here, it's part of the culture. The Bourbon Trail is a must-do for anyone visiting. You can check out legendary distilleries like Maker's Mark, Jim Beam, and Buffalo Trace. Each stop gives you a behind-the-scenes look at the craftsmanship and tradition that go into making this iconic spirit. Kentucky's unique geology is one of the biggest reasons its bourbon is world famous. The state's limestone-rich water, packed with minerals, is perfect for distilling. This natural filtration process gives the bourbon a clean, crisp flavor that's hard to beat. On top of that, Kentucky's climate does wonders for the aging process. The hot summers and cold winters cause the charred oak barrels to expand and contract, helping the bourbon soak up all those rich flavors from the wood. Lately, distillers have been shaking things up with some innovative techniques. One of the coolest experiments involves aging bourbon in caves to mimic natural conditions, adding yet another layer of complexity to the drink. This mix of tradition and creativity shows why Kentucky continues to lead the bourbon world. If you're curious about how Kentucky's natural resources help shape its bourbon legacy, the Bourbon Trail is the perfect way to find out. You'll not only learn about the science and craftsmanship behind this iconic spirit, but also get immersed in the state's rich history. Speaking of history, 2023 brought an amazing discovery in Kentucky's cornfields. Kentucky's cornfields. A farmer unearthed over 700 Civil War-era gold coins, now known as the Great Kentucky Hoard. Dating back to the 1860s, these coins tell a story of a turbulent time in the state's past. Historians think they were buried to keep them safe from Confederate raids or Union confiscations during the war. The coins include rare $20 gold pieces, with some in near-perfect condition. They've been appraised at millions of dollars, making this one of the most valuable finds of its kind. It's not just about the money, though. This treasure offers a rare glimpse into the Civil War era and the lives of people who lived through it. The Great Kentucky Hoard, discovered in 2023, has sparked excitement among treasure hunters across the country. With over 700 Civil War-era gold coins unearthed, it's got people wondering what other hidden treasures might be buried under Kentucky's soil. Moving east, Kentucky's Appalachian region offers a different kind of treasure. Its stunning natural beauty and vibrant cultural heritage. The Appalachian Mountains in eastern Kentucky are some of the most ecologically and culturally diverse areas in the country. These rugged peaks, deep valleys, and ancient forests are home to a huge variety of plants and animals. Scientists have discovered rare species like the Calypso cayano orchid, and even newly identified insects, emphasizing how special and important these ecosystems are. But with threats like deforestation and climate change, conservation efforts are more important than ever to protect this biodiversity. The cultural side of Appalachia is just as rich as its natural wonders. Communities here are deeply rooted in tradition, with a history that goes back centuries. Festivals celebrating Appalachian music, think bluegrass and folk, draw visitors from far and wide. Local artisans keep old crafts alive, like quilting, basket weaving, and woodworking. These skills, passed down through generations, are more than hobbies. They're a way of preserving the region's identity. Storytelling is another Appalachian tradition that's alive and well. Through tales handed down over the years, the people of this region share their wisdom, humor, and resilience. These stories offer a glimpse into the lives of those who have called these mountains home for generations. With so much to offer, the Appalachian region raises exciting possibilities for further exploration. Could there be more rare species hiding in its forests? Historical artifacts buried in its soil? Medicinal plants waiting to be discovered? And if you're craving a deeper dive into Kentucky's wild beauty and history, Red River Gorge is definitely a place you won't want to miss. Red River Gorge. The Appalachian Mountains in Kentucky continue to spark a sense of wonder and respect, drawing attention from those eager to discover more of what this ancient land holds. These mountains are not only a beautiful backdrop for outdoor enthusiasts, but they're also full of history and secrets waiting to be uncovered. As more exploration takes place, there's a sense that the area is far from being fully understood, with new discoveries around every corner. One of Kentucky's true gems is the Red River Gorge, a stunning natural area right in the heart of the state. Known for its massive sandstone arches, towering cliffs, and winding trails, the gorge is like a giant outdoor art gallery crafted by nature itself. It's not just about the views, though. The Red River Gorge is deeply connected to Kentucky's past, offering a unique look into the lives of the people who lived here thousands of years ago. Archaeological digs in the gorge have uncovered ancient Native American rock shelters where early inhabitants of the area likely lived and held ceremonies. These findings give us a peek into their spiritual practices and daily lives. The artifacts discovered in these shelters, tools, pottery, and other cultural items, suggest that the gorge was more than just a place to pass through. It was a significant gathering spot, a place where people came together for reasons beyond survival. The Red River Gorge's rich cultural history is tied to the landscape itself, making it a place that's both physically and historically significant. Walking through the gorge today, it's easy to feel connected to the past, especially knowing that generations before us walked the same trails and used the natural rock formations as shelter. The Red River Gorge isn't just about stunning views and rich history. It's also a hotspot for incredible biological diversity. The area is home to some of the most unique and rare forms of life, especially in its caves. These caves are still being explored, and inside them, scientists have found microorganisms that thrive in extreme conditions. These tiny life forms are pretty remarkable because they could be key to developing new medical treatments, especially when it comes to antibiotics and battling resistant bacterial strains. In other words, the Red River Gorge could be a goldmine for medical breakthroughs, and scientists are just scratching the surface. Beyond the scientific discoveries, the gorge is a paradise for outdoor lovers. Climbers, hikers, and nature enthusiasts flock to the area to explore its rugged cliffs, lush forests, and winding trails. But that's not all that's been found in this region. Rare orchid. In 2024, a rare orchid species called Calypso kentensis was discovered in the Appalachian region of Kentucky, shining a spotlight on the state's rich ecological diversity. This beautiful orchid is known for its vibrant colors and intricate structure, making it a stunning find for plant lovers and scientists alike. It thrives in the moist, shaded environments found in eastern Kentucky's forests, where the conditions are just right for it to grow. The discovery of this orchid really emphasizes how important it is to preserve Kentucky's forests. These woods aren't just pretty to look at. They provide critical habitats for a wide range of plant and animal species. The Calypso kentensis is a prime example of how fragile and delicate these ecosystems can be, and why it's crucial to protect them. If these forests weren't kept in balance, plants like this orchid could easily disappear. What makes Kentucky's forests so special for plants like the Calypso kentensis is the combination of factors that make the soil and environment just right. The rich soil, the high humidity, and the limited direct sunlight all come together to create an ideal space for orchids and other sensitive species to flourish. These conditions aren't easy to find everywhere, which is why Kentucky's forests are home to some really unique plants and wildlife. Unfortunately, these unique habitats are facing some serious threats. Deforestation, driven by logging, agriculture, and urban expansion, is putting pressure on delicate ecosystems and making it harder for species like the Calypso kentensis orchid to survive. Climate change is making things worse by changing the temperatures and rainfall patterns that these ecosystems depend on. For plants and animals that rely on specific conditions, even small shifts in the environment can have a huge impact. Botanists and conservationists are sounding the alarm, urging for immediate action to protect these biodiverse areas. They're pushing for strategies like habitat restoration, creating protected areas, and involving local communities in conservation efforts. These steps are essential to ensure that the unique ecosystems in Kentucky and beyond don't continue to shrink and lose species that depend on them. Big Bone Lick. Recent digs at Big Bone Lick State Park have uncovered a ton of Ice Age fossils, including remains of mastodons, giant sloths, and other massive creatures. This incredible discovery has made Big Bone Lick famous among paleontologists all over the world, offering up important clues about Kentucky's prehistoric ecosystems and its role as a stopping point for migrating animals during the Ice Age. Big Bone Lick is often called the birthplace of American paleontology because it's a spot where ancient animals were drawn to the area by natural salt licks and mineral springs. These natural resources made it a prime gathering place for big herbivores. As animals wandered into the area for the minerals, many of them left behind fossils, which got preserved in the sediment over thousands of years. These fossils now give scientists a better understanding of what life was like back in the day. The finds at Big Bone Lick aren't just about the size and bones of these ancient creatures. They also give us some cool insights into their behavior, diets, and how they interacted with their environment. For example, scientists can see how these animals adapted to the changing climates and what kind of plants they might have eaten, based on the fossils found alongside them. It's like piecing together an ancient puzzle that paints a picture of life long before humans arrived. These discoveries are opening up a whole new chapter in understanding how the climate and environment shaped the species that lived here thousands of years ago. The area was a vital spot for large herbivores that wandered in for the mineral-rich salt licks and springs, and as animals gathered in these areas, their remains were preserved for future generations to uncover. Kentucky's history also includes a mind-blowing discovery from the skies, a meteorite impact site nearly 100 million years old. Ancient meteorite impact. In 2023, geologists in Kentucky made a major discovery. They confirmed the existence of an ancient meteorite impact site that's nearly 100 million years old. This is huge for understanding not just the history of Kentucky, but also planetary geology as a whole. The impact site is buried deep under layers of sediment and rock, and it's giving scientists a rare chance to study what happens when a meteorite crashes into Earth's surface. The area is packed with signs of what's called shock metamorphism, which happens when extreme heat and pressure from an impact change the minerals and rocks in the area. Scientists have found deformed minerals, tiny craters, and altered rock formations, all clues showing how intense the collision was. These features give researchers a better idea of just how much energy was released during the strike, and what the surrounding environment might have looked like in the aftermath. But the discovery isn't just about the impact itself. It's also shedding light on how the Earth's climate might have shifted after the collision. The meteorite likely kicked up huge amounts of dust and gas into the atmosphere, which probably caused some serious climate changes. Short-term cooling and other atmospheric changes might have been triggered, and studying these changes helps scientists understand the kind of environmental impact a massive meteorite strike can have. And while we're on the topic of Kentucky's underground wonders, Carter Caves is revealing some incredible surprises that go beyond just rock formations. Secrets of Carter Caves. Ongoing research at Carter Caves in Kentucky is uncovering a hidden underground world that's way more complex than anyone expected. These caves aren't just filled with stalactites and stalagmites, there are actual underground rivers running through them, which is pretty crazy. These rivers create an ecosystem of their own, home to rare cave-dwelling creatures that don't live anywhere else. The way these waterways function gives scientists an incredible look at Kentucky's unique karst topography, which is a fancy way of saying it's a landscape shaped by limestone, sinkholes, and underground drainage systems. The caves in Carter Caves are part of a larger karst system that's known for its intricate networks of tunnels and caves. The rivers running through them are especially interesting because they're not just scenic, they're also crucial to the overall health of the ecosystem. These hidden waterways are full of rare species that have adapted to life without sunlight, including some types of fish and invertebrates that are completely blind. These creatures live in total darkness, relying on other senses to navigate their environment. By studying these underground rivers, scientists are learning a lot about how water filters through the ground, how it sustains rare species, and how these caves are connected to larger aquifers in the region. Some of the creatures living in these caves are so unique that they could offer insights into things like how organisms adapt to extreme environments. The rivers inside Carter Caves are like a hidden world on their own, hosting a bunch of super rare species that you won't find anywhere else. We're talking about blind fish, crustaceans, and other creatures that have adapted to living in total darkness for who knows how long. These species, most of which are found only in that specific part of Kentucky, give scientists a unique look into how life can evolve and survive in such extreme conditions. Studying these critters doesn't just satisfy curiosity, but also helps us understand how life can hold on in the harshest of environments. The caves themselves are pretty impressive too. They've been shaped over millions of years by water slowly seeping through the region's limestone, carving out tunnels and chambers that form the crazy cave system we see today. This geological process is a huge part of why Carter Caves is so fascinating. It's not just a cool place to explore, but also a living record of the Earth's history. What's even more interesting is how all these underground rivers and cave ecosystems might be connected to the surface world. While the caves are an isolated world of their own, they're also part of a bigger system. The research going on in Carter Caves helps us better understand how these underground rivers might affect the above-ground ecosystems, like how water flows through the land and how pollution might make its way into these delicate underground habitats. And if you're into ancient history, the Adena Mounds offer a fascinating look at one of Kentucky's earliest cultures and their impressive earthworks. Adena Mounds. The Adena Mounds, scattered across central Kentucky's Bluegrass region, are like ancient time capsules, offering a glimpse into the lives of the Adena people who lived there between 1000 and 200 BC. These earthworks are some of the oldest and most important archaeological sites in the state, telling us a lot about the culture and practices of one of Kentucky's earliest Native American societies. The mounds, which are made from carefully layered earth, weren't just for decoration or random piles of dirt. They had real purposes in the community. Most of the mounds are linked to burial sites, where the Adena people buried their dead, sometimes with elaborate grave goods. Some mounds were also likely used for ceremonies or religious rituals, as well as possible markers to show territory or community boundaries. The fact that they were carefully constructed shows how important these places were to the Adena people, not just for honoring the dead, but for maintaining their social and spiritual practices. The mounds are often found near the remains of circular village sites, suggesting that these spots were central to daily life. People lived nearby, gathered at the mounds for important events, and probably used them for a lot more than just what we can see today. While the Adena culture itself has faded, these mounds remain as a testament to their ingenuity and how they shaped their environment. The Adena Mounds in central Kentucky are more than just hills of dirt. They're ancient remnants of a once thriving Native American culture that lived between 1000 and 200 BC. These mounds are scattered across the Bluegrass region and offer us a glimpse into the lives of the Adena people. They didn't just pile up earth for no reason. These mounds served as burial sites, ceremonial platforms, and possibly even markers to define territories. Ongoing digs at these sites have uncovered some seriously impressive artifacts, from intricately designed pottery to stone tools and ornamental items made from bone and copper. These finds give us a pretty cool idea of what the Adena people valued and how they lived. The craftsmanship is impressive, and the items suggest the Adena had trade connections that extended beyond Kentucky. They were swapping goods and ideas with nearby cultures, showing they weren't isolated or cut off from the rest of the world. What makes the Adena Mounds even more fascinating is how archaeologists are using new tech to explore them. Ground-penetrating radar helps them uncover hidden features without disturbing the mounds themselves. It's a game-changer in how we approach these ancient sites, preserving them while still learning more about what they hold. This kind of research is helping us understand how the Adena people lived, worked, and connected with others. And if you think the land-based discoveries are wild, wait until you hear about the prehistoric shark jaw found deep in Mammoth Cave. Prehistoric Shark Jaw. In 2019, researchers uncovered an incredible discovery deep within Mammoth Cave, a fossilized jaw belonging to Cyvodus striatus, a prehistoric shark that swam the Earth about 330 million years ago. This shark, a distant relative of the sharks we know today, offers an amazing glimpse into the ancient marine ecosystems that existed long before Kentucky was anything like the land we see now. Back in the late Paleozoic era, much of Kentucky was covered by a warm, shallow tropical sea, a far cry from the caves and forests that dominate the region today. What makes this discovery so remarkable isn't just that it's an ancient shark jaw, it's the level of preservation. The fossil includes rare remnants of cartilage, which is almost never found in the fossil record. Cartilage, unlike bone, usually decays pretty quickly after an animal dies, so it's incredibly rare to find it fossilized. This discovery gives scientists a unique opportunity to study the anatomy of ancient sharks in more detail than they ever have before. The jaw, teeth, and the structure around them show that Cyvodus striatus was no small fish in the sea. It was a top predator, likely at the top of the marine food chain in its day. The shark's teeth and jaw structure suggest it had a powerful bite, which would have made it an effective hunter. By studying this, researchers are getting a clearer picture of how these creatures evolved over time and how they fit into the marine ecosystems they inhabited. It also sheds light on how sharks have adapted over millions of years, evolving from these ancient predators into the diverse range of sharks we have today. On top of what this shark reveals about prehistoric marine life, the find is a window into Kentucky's geological history. The limestone-rich landscape of the region has preserved countless ancient remains, but this jaw is special because it comes from a time when Kentucky was completely underwater. The fossil provides valuable clues about the ancient marine environment and the creatures that lived there, helping scientists understand more about how the region's geology has evolved. Kentucky is a state that has been hiding some incredible secrets, and people are starting to realize just how much history it holds. Kentucky's hidden history. The Kentucky Archaeological Survey has been doing some serious work over the years, uncovering and preserving the state's rich archaeological heritage. They cover a wide area, looking through 64 counties, and they've made some pretty big discoveries, from prehistoric times all the way through Kentucky's Civil War history. It's a mix of the old and the new, the ancient and the not-so-ancient, that paints a pretty unique picture of what Kentucky used to be like. The survey's efforts to dig into the past don't just stay in the academic world, they actively involve the public. Through hands-on excavation experiences and educational workshops, they're bringing people closer to history in a way that's not just about reading from a textbook. One of the coolest parts about these programs is that they make the past come alive. You can check out real artifacts like pottery, tools, and ceremonial items that people used centuries ago. It's a way for people to connect with Kentucky's past, making it feel more tangible, more real. These artifacts aren't just relics. They tell the stories of the people who lived here before us. And that connection between modern Kentuckians and their ancestors is something the survey works hard to nurture. What makes these discoveries even more exciting is the use of technology. The survey doesn't just rely on traditional methods, they're incorporating modern tools like GIS mapping and 3D artifact reconstruction. This allows researchers to dive deeper into their findings, creating digital models and maps that help to piece together a fuller picture of Kentucky's past. Through these technologies, they've been able to find unknown village sites, burial mounds, and even historic homesteads. Each new discovery adds another layer to the region's human history. One of the most significant parts of the Kentucky Archaeological Survey's work is its role in protecting these sites. With urban development constantly growing and environmental threats on the rise, it's more important than ever to safeguard these places from being destroyed or altered. Without the survey's efforts, much of Kentucky's past could have been lost forever. But thanks to their hard work, these sites are preserved, and their stories will be around for future generations to explore and appreciate. What's even cooler is how Kentucky's landscape itself plays into this whole archaeological mystery. The state's rich limestone geology is like a giant natural treasure chest, holding fossils from ancient seas and the creatures that once lived in them. From prehistoric sharks to Ice Age creatures like mastodons and giant sloths, Kentucky's geological formations have preserved an amazing variety of prehistoric life. Mammoth Cave, one of the state's most famous landmarks, is a goldmine for these kinds of discoveries. The fossilized jaw of a 330-million-year-old shark recently found, there is just one example of how these caves are opening up a window into a long-lost world. Big Bone Lick State Park, another key site, has provided paleontologists with a wealth of Ice Age fossils. These sites give scientists insight into the ancient ecosystems of Kentucky, showing just how much the landscape has changed over millions of years. As researchers continue to explore, they're uncovering even more, with each discovery offering clues about the creatures that roamed the land and the environment they lived in. The fossils found in places like Mammoth Cave and Big Bone Lick continue to unlock the mysteries of Kentucky's distant past. What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. See you in the next one.